And that's why you need real mavericks like Jesse Ventura hanging around. I definitely don't agree with everything he says. And he hates the Democratic Party just as much as the Republican Party, to the point where I think he's too zealous about it, right? Put aside our disagreements. You need strong actors like this in America that are going to speak their minds, because the politicians oftentimes don't, right? They don't have the capacity, the will, the courage, etc. to do it. So Jesse lays it out, as he should, on not just Dick Cheney here, but on all the chicken hawks. Here he is on Larry King.
In a commander-in-chief.
In a commander-in-chief, I want someone I can respect. I want someone who will understand that going to war is really a simple decision. You know how simple it should be, Larry? A war is justified if you're willing to send your son. If you're not willing to send your son, then how do you send someone else's? See, our problem with this current war in Iraq is that we're being governed by the chicken hawks. You know what a chicken hawk is? That's somebody, when it was their time to serve, they were chicken. But now they come back when they're 50 years old and they're hawks. You know, and I laugh when President Bush says, he come out a few months ago and said the problem with Vietnam was we left too soon. Well, why didn't he come over and help out? Or why didn't 4 or 5 deferment Dick Cheney show up? And how is it that a guy with 4 or 5 deferments from the military can end up the Secretary of Defense? Shouldn't you have at least served? You're the main liaison between civilian and military. Shouldn't you at least have had military service? And yet here's Dick Cheney, a Secretary of Defense.
So there's no commander-in-chief on the horizon to you?
Well, there will be one, but again, I would hope that it would be. My problem with Senator McCain is he says we may have to stay in Iraq for 100 years if we have to. And I say no. I agree with Ron Paul. We marched in there, we can march out.
What a colorful guy. You don't, if you don't remember, he's actually a U.S. Navy SEAL. So when he talks about, hey, why didn't they come help out in Vietnam, he's got at least the authority to be able to say that, and the background and the credibility to be able to say that. And he's right. Why didn't anybody point this out? Hello, Democratic Party. God, they drive me crazy. They ran against Dick Cheney twice. And never did they say this son of a bitch got 5 deferments out of Vietnam. Said he had other priorities. And now he marches us into a war in Iraq, especially the second time around. Man, they don't know this game. They just don't know politics at all. And it takes somebody outside of politics like Ventura at this point to say, why did they ever let Dick Cheney be Secretary of Defense in the first place under the first George H.W. Bush regime, and then now he's the vice president starting wars as a chicken hawk. That's damn straight, man. Look, Jesse's right, dude. We ain't got time to bleed. Okay? And these guys are bleeding us dry. And he said, now you're going to get McCain in there and stay in Iraq for another 100 years? No way.